qualification for the quarterfinals, and it's the game between New Zealand and Syria. Well, yesterday the qualification for the quarterfinals got underway. China rolling to a big win over Indonesia, and Jordan winning in a thriller right at the buzzer, just inside that court. A long three-pointer to beat Chinese Taipei. So you see the games also that we have here today, and some good ones. Syria certainly have found their best form, beating Kazakhstan to make it. New Zealand, meanwhile, coming off some impressive play, beating Philippines. So I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Mills, and probably, Mark, Syria have done well to get this far, but I think without a doubt they start as the underdogs in this game.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You know, you look historically, this is the stage that they went out in 2017, losing to China in that situation. I wouldn't say they feel lucky. They had a great game against Kazakhstan, but this is a big step up for them. Keys for Syria, it's about crashing the boards. They're going to have to work the rebounding job really hard. And for me, they also need to extend the impact that they're having from their bench. At the moment, there's 1 or 2 players each game that are carrying the majority of the weight. They need more help. Other end of the floor, New Zealand enter as favourites. You know, they'll be looking at that 4th place finish back in 2017. It's a big ask for them to do that this time, but they'll certainly be targeting that. But they need to be more efficient offensively. They've got to this stage, they're favourites in the game, but they need to have more offensive efficiency.
Well, the winner will advance to take on Korea in the quarterfinals, but before we get started, we're going to have the national anthems.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of New Zealand. Thank you.
Per Cameron, the coach of New Zealand, legend of international basketball, which didn't need to be confirmed, but it was when he went into the FIBA Hall of Fame, and now the Haka. So the Haka has been played. New Zealand and Syria about ready to go. The Syrians applauded that. They seem to enjoy it. Ceremonial chant.
War dance, would say. Yeah.
And we're just minutes away from the start, about 4 in fact. So this is officially the business end of the tournament. Of course, I guess you could always say it's always the business end of the tournament, a short tournament. You need to get wins from the very beginning, but Al-Hamwi kind of emerged as a key factor for Syria, the post presence. And we saw some really good play from New Zealand against the Philippines. They got on top of them early, and they built themselves a cushion that really, I think, kind of helped them maybe avoid some tricky areas down, later in the game. But it was a good solid win. Referees for today's game: Yevgeny Mikheyev from Kazakhstan on the left, Zhang Zhao from China, and Zheng Yu from Chinese Taipei.
And Syria obviously can pay credit to how strong they played against Kazakhstan. Massive step up from several players.
Anthony Bakar, Nadim Issa, Ishaq Obaid, Abdul Wahab Alamwi, and Omar Sheikh Ali in the starting 5. Azri, Nazarian, Arbasha, Adilbi, Adribe, Al-Sati, all on the bench. And unless Hinton has snuck in here, his name still appears on the reserve list, but my understanding is he never made it. He never made his flight from California, the naturalized player. Javier Juarez, the head coach of Syria, and I think that was a relief getting the win the other day, but it was richly deserved. They trailed early on by 12 points to Kazakhstan. They stuck to their guns, to their game plan, and it paid off. And for New Zealand, Flynn Cameron, Cruz Piru Hunt, Toy Smith-Milner, Tucky Farrenson, and Sam Timmins. They will be in the starting 5. And I doubt we're going to see Max Darling because of a knee injury. But anyway, Sam Manunga, Taylor Britt, Murray, Kyle, Davidson, and Hunt also coming off the bench. For Coach Piru Cameron, All-Star 5 selection at the 2002 FIBA Basketball World Cup in Indianapolis. Kind of really had an amazing eye-opening performance, had a great pro career, and now the head coach of New Zealand. And you and I saw him play when he was a professional as well in England. I know he played other places, but
yeah, he's still a hero
in England with Chester.
Yeah, still a hero in the northwest of England. Had a huge career there, brought them a lot of silverware. And I have a feeling he's going to be just as successful as a coach as he was as a player.
Have a look how they're going to mark you. Can you recognize the 4 switches onto semi?
Okay, we side with back door. When your man receive the ball, 4, don't let passes taken because many times he played directly for let the spacing. He needs shot with time. Okay? Help, first help, second help. Remember, go here. First help, second help. Game here. First help, second help, and ball. Okay? Good. Follow the shooter. Okay? We can switch 3 and 4. Right there. We can roll. High flat. And rebound.
And for me, the biggest part of that Coach Flores timeout is the final few words: rebound. I think that's going to be critical. New Zealand are the top rebounding side in the Asia Cup this year, and Syria have struggled to close out those boards. You're not going to be able to afford to give New Zealand too many second chance opportunities, and if Syria can do that, then we could be in for quite a close game.
Well, it's been a really interesting FIBA Asia Cup, to put it mildly. Certainly we were buzzing when we left the arena last night after Jordan battled back to win. And we are underway here in Jakarta. New Zealand taking on Syria, winning the opening tip. And Tucky Farrenson coming out and missing his first shot from the right corner. Syria should have really grown in self-belief after yesterday's win over Kazakhstan. In fact, 2 days ago. Al-Hamwi kind of pushed out, puts up the hook shot. Omar Sheikh Ali gets the rebound.
Yeah, Al-Hamwi needs to go back to the way he played against Kazakhstan, a lot more aggressive going towards the basket.
Anthony Pakar gets on the baseline, a little bit short. He's been hitting that shot. Obey stays in front of Flynn Cameron, passes it back outside, and Smith-Milner. And there is Cameron getting the offensive rebound and put back.
That's the rebound we were talking about. And clearly, Cameron at the point is going to run it hard, get it down the floor before their rim protector can get back.
Obeyed goes hard and misses with the left hand. Cameron drives in. He has been oh so impressive. Syria do not want New Zealand to get out to a big lead. I think they're going to be a little bit more ruthless than Kazakhstan were. Syria were able to battle back against Kazakhstan in the group game to get to this qualification for the quarterfinal.
Yeah, New Zealand are definitely another level compared to Kazakhstan.
Issa missing and already a little frustrated over there on the bench.
And it's slightly different for Syria today against Kazakhstan. They look to go to Al-Hamwi and use that size advantage. They don't really have that today. The front court for New Zealand is pretty strong and big. Plenty of options on the bench as well for Coach Cameron to rotate in if there's any foul trouble.
So Al-Hamwi, without a doubt, potentially a big rim protector.
He's definitely been one of those players who's looked better as the tournament's progressed.
2.2 meters in height, 7'3", 7 feet 3 inches. Cameron had to think about it, passes it back outside to Smith-Milner. And Smith-Milner drives in. And Omar Sheikh Ali comes in and gets the rebound. And the ball goes off of Issa, and it triggers a break, and Cameron looked like he was going to go up to try to dunk it, and then something happened.
Yeah, just lost his footing. He went to put his launch foot down, and it just slipped. Stuck with the play, to be fair. That would have put him off.
Al-Hamwi from the baseline, and Pardiff is asking for a timeout.
No surprise at the moment. Absolutely nothing is working for Syria. They don't look very confident.
I think he called for the timeout, and now he's called it off.
It looks like he wants to sub himself in. He's sitting on the subs bench.
Cruz, Pirro, Hunt for three.
He's really impressed me in this tournament. Fundamentally a very, very sound player. One more year of college still to go, but averaging over 10 points a game in the tournament, and that includes the game he got disqualified.
And did not get the basketball over in time. So, nightmare start for Syria. Already in a 9-0 hole against a Tall Blacks team that is growing in confidence and improving with their performances.
Go and shout with a friend, man. More energy. You for play this shot. It's possible. Play more aggressive. In defense. Let's pass the ball. Any defense.
ايوه سكرين تعال عندي خط الطابه بعدين اروح طلع بيطلع شوف اجي كم
Possible play more aggressive with our ball for moving and in defense let's pass the ball all time. Anyone box out the rebound, catch the ball and go walking 8 seconds without press. What do you think? Stay playing in a limbo. Go.
Al-Hamwi not having it all his own way, but that man right there is Flynn Cameron.
It's interesting that Coach Juarez there completely focused in on the defensive end when Syria haven't scored a point in the game. You know, but he clearly sees that that's the way they're going to get back into the game, create some momentum, you know, off the back of some stops and some more aggressive, hard-nosed defense.
Smith-Milner from the left corner, and it is a 12-0 lead. Alhamra going to work on Sam Timmons, and just kind of bodied out of the way. Hero Hunt, his pass, quick pass, oh, goes out of bounds.
And for me, that last offense for Syria, Alhamri's moaning about the no call. Just go to the basket. You have the physicality to go to the basket. The easy option is to fade away. The right option is to go strong to the basket. And now he's going to have to sit down out of the game as Al-Sati will come in and take his place.
Well, he was, I think he was trying to get to the basket that time, and as he turned, Timmons' big body was there, and he just kind of like naturally pushed him out. He's got to have maybe some better footwork.
Yeah, footwork will definitely help. He needs a strong, you know, stance to push on from if he's going to go up against good defense that New Zealand will offer today.
Adribe will be perhaps more formidable. Al-Sati also has checked in. They've got bigger frames. Taylor Britt, Sam Menenga, and Tane Murray have checked in for New Zealand. All three coming off really good games against the Philippines. Nadim Issa, and strong finish for him. He was the guy that triggered the run the other day against Kazakhstan.
Yeah, he ended up with 15 points, and you're right, he was the player that kept them in the game early on. Other players stepped up towards the end to seal the win, but he was the one that even made that win possible. They were about to get blown out very early on.
Adribe fouled as he turns into Tane Murray.
And I like the rotation from Coach Cameron. He clearly sees Timmons as the best defensive big man to face Al-Hamwi. I have a feeling every time Al-Hamwi's on the bench, Timmons will go to the bench. Al-Hamwi comes back on, Timmons will come back on, and clearly worked. They didn't score a bucket while Al-Hamwi was on the floor.
I wonder if Al-Hamwi could work on that sky hook.
Certainly be tough to block, that's for sure, if he could get a sky hook.
Kareem. Oh, boy, good save. And Issa chasing the ball, pushes Menenga out of bounds. Very frustrating for him over there on the sidelines. Just start for Syria. There's Taylor Britt out to Menenga. And Menenga short. Isaac Davidson also in the game, as well as Jordan Hunt. Ball goes in, Al-Sati. The second unit not quite as efficient as the first for New Zealand in this game.
I expect Britt to take some more leadership now on the floor. Found in the last couple of games when Cameron's on the bench, he's kind of the second go-to point guard. He's the one that controls how they're playing their offense and really was quite influential in the last couple of games.
Yeah, Taylor Britt, the Canterbury Rams, 1.87 meters in height. Here is Bakar. He's brought his cold shooting hand today. But again, lots of tall blacks underneath the basket for the rebound. Here's Hunt, sets the pick, now rolls into the paint. There's Menenga. Looks like he's going to be pretty active today. Tane Murray, feet set. Oh boy, he's been hot since the last game. He makes his first three-pointer.
Yeah, it's taken him a while to get into this tournament, but that 16 points against Philippines will really help his confidence, and he looks like he is a confident shooter.
Tony Bennett, hopefully he's monitoring events. His coach, University of Virginia. Just like Bob McKillop will be monitoring Sam Menenga. The Davidson coach, now Isaac Davidson, Brings it up, and the ball turned over. Issa had his hands up on defense, and takes the ball. Oh, they're gonna call travel. Good job by Davidson getting back on defense. Tough break for Syria. Looked like they might have a chance with Issa. He was showing signs of doing what he did against Kazakhstan. Here he is, watch this. Well, call was travel, and that was the block as well, so he's going to sit down. Just 15-2 so far. 2 points for Syria. Taylor Bridge gets it over to Murray. Will it be 2 in a row? Yes, it will.
Yeah, he's the definition of a rhythm shooter. Once he gets going, you're going to have to really chase him out on the perimeter, and Syria's defense isn't that style of defense, as we saw against Japan. They aren't great at defending the three.
Arbasha picks up the dribble. Bakar. Now, Adribe turns, puts it up and in. Finally, another basket. Still wasn't going to the basket, but they'll take it. Little turnaround jumper. Hunt from the left. This is everything. Obeyed. Likes to get most of his offense going to the basket. Arbasha, he'll put it up. Omar Sheikh Ali is a threat, and it goes off the far side of the rim.
Syria's offense at the moment is too fluid.
Now he's pulling up. So, as opposed to a catch and shoot, something he'll be working on. Here's Bakar for 3.
Yeah, and clearly for Tane Murray, that is something to work on. He's a good catch and shoot perimeter player, but off the dribble, not so much.
How about Hunt putting it up and scoring?
And this is the problem that Coach Juarez has, calling that very early timeout. He doesn't want to call a second timeout, and now a 5-second violation is going to be called on the inbound. And Syria are crumbling at how good New Zealand are right now.
I think what impresses me about this for New Zealand is they just seem to be kind of cruising along in third gear. They're not really having to do too much. Here's Meninga. They're helping them out, though. They are actually missing some shots, but Syria just can't put the ball in the basket. There a desperation layup. No way was that going in. Arbasha. Davidson fouled by Obeid.
New Zealand aren't the most efficient offensive team. They really aren't. They haven't been throughout the entire tournament. But what they do is they really crash the boards hard and get plenty of second chance opportunities and limit the other team to having very few possessions to beat them with.
Meninga. And gets the friendly bounce.
And I understand exactly why Syria is sitting in that 2-3 zone. But New Zealand are almost quite happy to play a 5-out offense and just spread the floor with their shooters. I'm not sure it's the solution for Syria.
So juesperation time here for Syria. They need to get some buckets. Adribe.
Juarez is close to getting a technical foul. He's not careful.
He's frustrated. Here's Sam Meninga. Good bounce.
I have a feeling he might get thrown out of the game in this one.
So technical has been called.
Yep.
But you can understand that he's frustrated.
He's frustrated at the wrong thing, though. His frustration is being targeted in the wrong direction. Although that said, I've seen his frustration being aimed at the players as they're coming off the floor at the moment, and I wonder if Coach Juarez's style is just wearing a little thin at the moment for these Syrian players as well. It worked in the last game against Kazakhstan, but maybe that confrontational manner isn't working so well today.
That was the replay of him, and then he got teed up. Referee had enough. He'll listen to him for a while. There's Meninga, and 2 shots being awarded.
And you see with New Zealand now the confidence that their players have. Every single player is confident that they can get to the basket, that they can score, they can create an open shot. And New Zealand are dangerous in that situation when they're that confident offensively. We saw it in their first game of this tournament against India. And that was an absolute lesson for India in basketball.
Oh boy, good job by Murray to take it away. And now the ball goes to Adribe, and he's able to get the 2 points. So it could have been worse. Davidson looks up at the clock. Back to Menenga, Taylor Britt. See if he can get something going to the basket. No, he's going to get it over to Hunt. And Hunt a little bit short. Hawks Bay Hawks man. So at the end of one, New Zealand up 25-6 on Syria.
That's a phenomenal first quarter performance for New Zealand. You know, in the pre-game, we obviously spoke about it, saying that New Zealand are clear favourites, and look at those shooting statistics. They've dominated the game. They've not been highly efficient on the offensive end, but Syria have offered nothing pretty much at the other end.
That was the play where we thought he might go for the dunk, and it looked like something happened with his left foot. He's decided to be up just to lay it up. Cruz, Pura Hunt, stroking the three-pointer. I talked to him before the game. I can't believe he hasn't seen dances with wolves. Going to South Dakota.
Yeah, I amazed you when I said I've not watched it either. Not seen it. I'm now going to have to go and watch it when I get back to my room.
Everybody
have a search for some dances with wolves.
So Issa had the big game against Kazakhstan, but I think the Tall Blacks quite a bit of savvy. You know, they're a young team, but they all play big minutes with good clubs or universities. And get the courtside 1891 app, folks. There it is. Look at that. It just popped up. I didn't even know it was coming. You could scan the barcode in, and you'll have it for your video streams, schedules, and sports. And I can't speak highly enough of that app. And also, Mark, I can't speak highly enough of the FIBA Asia Cup app.
It's a very, very good app.
That you would have it. I've got it.
I'd be lost without it.
I actually woke up this morning, and the first thing I did was look at today's rundown, looked at the top plays from yesterday. It's fantastic to have it on your phone. And then when you go down for breakfast, you can look at all that stuff in the elevator on the way down.
Can be completely antisocial, ignore everyone, and just play onto your phone. Why not?
Well,
it's that good.
You're getting excited. You're giving your excited vibes, looking at your FIBA Asia Cup app to the other people. So Issa's going to inbound the basketball to Arbasha.
Just had a quick look through some of the historic stats, and for Syria at the moment, slightly worrying. If they carry on at this pace and end up with 12 points at the half, it would be a joint third lowest scoring performance in the Asia Cup from any team.
Arbasha decided to launch. Tucky Farrenson, Cameron, Smith Milner, Cruz Piro Smith, and wow, and Timmons back in the game, and the push. And at this rate, this could be a blowout, much like China's was yesterday over Indonesia.
Yeah, it truly could. And you almost feel a similar mentality from New Zealand, that China came out with a little bit of a point to prove. I think New Zealand are maybe starting to feel that they're not talked about enough when we talk about medals, and people kind of consider what that podium is going to look like. But it's a good performance, and the thing that excites me about New Zealand is the depth of that roster.
I really think the best thing that could have happened to them was to play against a very good Lebanon team on the opening day. I think it kind of, whipped them into, got their attention. And shot clock violation, 27-6. Going from bad to worse for Adribe and Syria.
And you're almost more concerned when you see Coach Juarez just stay seated after a bad play. If he's up and shouting, it's not quite as bad as him just sitting down and being really frustrated.
But really, if you go back to that game against Lebanon, oh boy, Flynn Cameron. I don't know how you pick the New Zealand team moving forward. I mean, I know that there are a lot of good players that would be in front of these guys in the pecking order.
Yeah, just based on his history,
but
absolutely.
Shea Illy, for example, obviously.
Corian Ty-Webster will be there. Jared Kenny potentially.
Yeah.
This is tough to fit them in, but you're going to have to because they are real good talent right now.
Wow. Nazarian comes off the bench and strokes the three-pointer. That was coming at the right time. Here's Cameron. Ooh. Shaking and baking. And Simmons, Adribe, just a little sleepy in there. He's got to realize if there's a tall black close to him, he's going to reach in and take it away. Bakar splits the defense, a kick. So it's going to stay at this end. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Ball went off of Timmons.
And as much as Elhamwi didn't have a great start to the game, I'm amazed we haven't seen him back on the floor more. Juarez has really challenged him to be better, and he has been in the last two games, particularly that last one. Surely you challenge him again to step up his game.
Bakar. Tucky was not giving any ground there. Hero Hunt rattles in another one. I think his mom is here watching him, sitting up in the stands, wearing the number 12 jersey. That's what I call support from parents coming all this way. And why wouldn't you to see your son play for the national team?
And on top of that, it's a nice excuse to come to Jakarta.
Yes, it
to
is.
be honest, it's a wonderful city, wonderful country.
So the hold. So I think he heard you because he's brought Elhamwi back in.
It's just for me, he could be the point of difference. I'm not sure there is any other point of difference in that Syrian roster. He is the one that could cause New Zealand issues if he plays aggressively and plays at the highest level he can.
Obeyed, he's going to have to launch it. He does. Ooh. Ball goes out of bounds. Obeyed's strength is not shooting the three. It's driving, and they're just not on the same page.
And I'm a bit frustrated by Obeyed, if I'm honest. He turned up in game 2, was the only player that really turned up against Japan.
Best guard in the tournament in that game. I mean, he was amazing.
And then, you know,
against Kazakhstan, he started slow, but then he came on the second half.
Yeah, he certainly contributed in that game, but he felt like the type of player that could take a leadership role, which is what this team lacks to a certain degree. And it's not a mental or psychological leadership role. This is about on the floor, kind of demonstrating how they need to be playing the game.
Well, traveling, turns it back over.
And this is probably the biggest concern for Coach Cameron at this moment for New Zealand, is just a little bit of complacency. Not running everything as strictly as they should, not putting in as much effort as they should, and they just don't want to establish bad habits if they are to progress past this game.
Offensive foul on Elhamwi.
And it's just a lazy screen. I think it was Obeyed.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it's just a lazy screen.
Sorry, you're right.
He's not set his feet. He's not run to the correct point on the floor.
I was just looking at the reaction of Elhamwi. I thought it was him.
Yeah, he was fighting the case.
Oh, good hands. And this is where Obeid's good. He pushes it quickly. Back to Nazarian, and goes in. There is Omar Sheikh Ali. Can't be afraid to go up. And Juarez can't believe he missed that so badly. Nice spin. Cameron. And Nazarian called for the foul. If you're going, I mean, Omar Sheikh Ali is going up against Smith Milner, who I'm sure he blocked shots, but it's not like he's going up against Timmons.
No.
But I guess Smith Milner is really not that much smaller than Simmons, is he?
No, not particularly.
6:22 left in the second quarter.
And to be honest, it's not an easy situation this for either coach, really, for Coach Cameron.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Get that in, folks.
His players could become, you know, complacent. He wants to make sure they keep going. I'm sure he'll be setting small targets, trying to make minor alterations. Let's grab the next 5 defensive boards. You know, let's get 3 stops in a row. Whatever it is, he'll be working that in to keep his team motivated. And for Coach Juarez, at the other end of the floor, it's tempering that anger and that frustration he clearly feels, because I'm not sure at this point that's going to help him.
Right to the zone, we prepare for it, shake, hit wing, hit corner, get 12, close it out, 0 for 2. And executing game plan and be able to see what happens. Come on, let's go.
Here's Flynn Cameron, the leading scorer. That was him passing the alley-oop to Timmons. Nazarian coming off the bench, hitting the 3-pointer. And then Pero Hunt stroking it from the right corner.
And Syria just clearly need someone to step up and start some offensive structure now. At the moment, their team offense isn't working. You have a feeling it's going to be individual talent that gets them there.
Pero Hunt stepped out of bounds.
Quickly learned the lesson of the game he got thrown out though there. Wanted to ask a question, just put the ball to his lips to silence him. Threw it back and walked on. He's learned the hard way.
Yeah, he was ejected in that first game against Lebanon. Good defense from Smith Milner, taking it away. Pero Hunt looks up to Tucky Ferguson. And Mikheyev called the foul from mid-court. Watch this.
Yeah, it's all right, cool.
There's no doubt. I think he's smiling because the call wasn't made by the baseline referee, but Mikheyev had a clear view of it.
Juarez is conducting a long-distance conversation with officials at the moment. He's on one technical and just needs to tread so carefully right now. I think that's the last thing that Syria need is for their
coach to go.
Yeah, head coach getting tossed out of the game is not going to make things better for them.
So the tall black tucks that one in as well. And now it's Syria again, chasing now 35-9 deficit. Bakar at the line. Ooh, just out of reach for Al-Hamwi. Tucky Ferguson drills another 3. 38-9. And Syria asking and calling for a timeout. Here it is again. The handoff by Smith Milner, and Ferguson tucks it away.
And at the moment, New Zealand, their best performance so far was game 1 against India. They won that 100-47. It certainly feels like potentially they're going to have their highest scoring game and their best defensive game here.
Someone don't want to play, tell me. Anthony, tell me.
Yeah, I was wrong. I said they played Lebanon first, didn't I? It was India that they played.
It was a forgettable game. I don't mean to be harsh or horrible, but it was one to stick in long-term memory rather than short-term memory. Yeah, the game against Lebanon, I agree with you. I think it's so helpful for them. Having that tough game at game 2, kind of having the bar set for them. This is the level we need to play at. And I'm sure they'd love to have another go at Lebanon maybe later in the tournament if they can meet up with them at some point and correct that 14-point loss.
Well, just imagine, had New Zealand not beaten Philippines, they'd be going up against Japan tonight, and that would be a very different challenge.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, massively different challenge. When you look at what Japan did to Syria, you see the gap between those two teams. But I'm looking forward to that Philippines-Japan game. I think that's going to be a really interesting battle. Both those teams play nice, high-paced basketball. Maybe a little bit more creativity from the Philippines and a little bit more fundamentally sound from Japan, but should be a good one.
Bakar. Now Obeid. They just are not shooting the basketball well today at all.
They're really not.
Now the pass to Timmons. Spins, turns, puts it up.
That's a score. But for Syria, they've not, shot the ball particularly well across the tournament. They're 41% across their group games from the field. So it's always going to be difficult. If you're a team that doesn't rebound the ball well and you have a low efficiency offense, it means you're going to be a low scoring team.
Pass to, look at that. Easy turn, Timmons. Goes to the left hand.
Textbook move.
Wholesale substitutions and a new 5 on the court for the Tall Blacks. And Al-Hamwe there. That's what good footwork does for you. But he's not able to negotiate that move against Timmons, is he?
No, or against Smith-Milner. Struggles when it's the two physical bigs.
Oh, and that's Menenga's reaction. The Davidson Wildcat flies in and just kind of lays it over the rim with his left hand.
And that's smart from Meninga. Al-Hamwe has the advantage of strength at one end, while he has the foot speed at the other.
So Omar Sheikh Ali comes out of the game. Draws the ire of his coach. Adribe comes back in. Taylor Britt whips it over to Menenga. Here's Isaac Davidson. And he had been a three-point shooting machine the other night against the Philippines. Now Hunt has it knocked away. Obed. Nazarian. Just even when they do come close, it feels like there's a lid on the basket. Here's Hunt. Al-Hamwe, yeah, he should have his way.
Much better from Al-Hamwe. And I find it interesting, yeah, that's going to be tougher to do that against Timmons and Smith-Milner, but he's not even trying to do that. There's no that weak arm, giving the little nudge. There's none of that intricate nature, aggressive nature on that play. And I guess Meninga putting it down.
Yeah, I guess for Hunt, 24 years old, he's plays kind of in a power forward position. He's going to have, he probably realizes, if he wants to progress in this, he needs to bulk up just a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, but either that or he's going to need to, transform to a similar player to Meninga. Right. That guy that can play some post defense but can step out and shoot the ball and maybe is a little bit more agile.
I think he can shoot it.
At the moment, he's just kind of between the two.
Davidson eludes Al-Hamwe. And he hustles back on defense to guard Isa. And Isa gets that three-pointer to go. That was a welcome sight for Syria fans, but Tane Murray isn't wasting any time. Here he is pulling up on the break, and Hunt told you he could shoot it, hits it, took his time.
And to be honest, with the exception of Timmons, pretty much every player on that New Zealand roster can shoot the ball. And that's going to be a real strength for them, not just in this game, but if they progress through as well, because they'll just stretch the floor. They go up against teams with immobile bigs, they'll be able to go to 5 out.
Al-Hamwe active, gets the rebound.
And Syria have looked much better in the last couple of minutes. I don't think it's necessarily down to a reduction from New Zealand. I just think Syria are starting to get a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum. It's just a shame for them that it's almost 18 minutes into the game now and they trail by 31.
Obeyed. Ooh, good. Strong. New Zealand, even when those guys are getting in there, they're not giving anything away, are they? Obey goes to the line. That's where he's at his best, and that's what he has to do.
Yeah, for him, it's
9 times out of 10, that's how he's going to get his points.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, he's got to just attack the basket. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to go strong at the basket. And he has to accept that a lot of his points may come from the free throw line as well when you play teams like New Zealand. They're not going to give you the easy drive to the basket. They're going to make you earn your points from the line.
Interesting how when Syria started this FIBA Asia Cup, Arbasha was a starting point guard initially, and then Obeid came in and just took that position, didn't he?
Yeah, I think what it tells you is potentially that Coach Juarez didn't have a huge amount of training camp time to really work out what his rotations were. And watching how he's rotated every game, I'm still not sure he really knows what his strongest rotations are for certain situations.
All right, gets it over to Tane Murray. Ooh, that was down and out. Obeid floats in. Alhamwi. Probably a putback dunk would have been preferred. And now New Zealand have another chance to score. And Meninga goes in and takes the contact from Azribe. That was him at the other end going down. Meninga.
I think Meninga's a really good option for New Zealand to have. He can really change the style that they play. When we usually watch New Zealand, we expect a legitimate big player, a body, someone strong in the paint. And Meninga can provide that, but he's also quite mobile, happy to drive at the basket as well.
They've had some good left-handed shooters over the years, haven't they, the Tall Blacks? Thinking of Phil Jones, maybe. Here goes Adilbi. How about that? This is the mystery to me why he doesn't play more. Because he played well the first game.
Me too.
Here's Hunt. Gets it out to Davidson. Tane Murray. No look pass to Meninga. And Meninga blocked from behind by Adilbi.
Yeah, no, on Adilbi, you kind of go to coach, what are you going to lose? You know, your team hasn't performed well in quite a few games now. You know, they lost relatively easily to Iran. They lost massively to Japan. They're losing by a huge amount now, and he's only come on the court, what, with 2-3 minutes left in this second quarter. Surely this is a good opportunity to give the 22-year-old some experience.
Davidson scores. Good jumper. Well, the funny thing is, I mean, right when he comes in, he scores. So it kind of tells you something. Obey. Adilbi tried to go back door. Tane Murray didn't fall for it. Azribe has the ball taken away by Britt. Britt flies in, and Issa commits the foul. Got him with the body.
It's a good foul, though. He made sure it was impossible for Britt to get the score. That said, Britt's an 82% free throw shooter in the group stage, so maybe not the best player to send to the free throw line.
Played against the Philippines in the Asian qualifiers. You did that game?
Yes, yeah. Covered that game. It was a different look Tall Blacks roster. But again, that's one of the strengths of New Zealand. A huge amount of depth in that talent pool now. Not the biggest of populations, but my goodness me, if they got some athletes and some great basketball players in it.
Done a good job playing in the NBL as well with Perth. Taylor Britt. Adribe, soft touch. Second time he's scored in there, but on the other side this time, and now Britt brings it up.
15 points now in the second quarter.
Palming the basketball is the call on Taylor Britt.
It's an unusual call. We haven't seen one of those so far. I've seen a few examples that have been very close to that carry, but first one that's been called.
Yeah, for some reason they haven't called it until now. Adilbi. Okay, can he be like you know who almost? He was almost like
Inspired by Ibrahim.
Steady Freddie lifted Jordan to victory last night with that shot. But anyway, New Zealand in command, 53-21 against Syria at halftime.
Cameron leading the way for them with 9 points. Adribe has 6 points, but it's a big ask now for Coach Juarez in the locker room on how he can change things up.
Well, it doesn't matter who it's been on the court for the Tall Blacks. They've all been scoring. They've been sharing the basketball, moving around. Like Cameron, Sam Timmons. They have been rolling. All but two of the players so far have played, and we're not going to see Max Darling play because of his knee injury. But everybody has scored that's played so far for New Zealand.
Yeah, and everyone that's come on the floor has done a really, really strong job. Obviously, some of the ones you're going to pick out are the likes of Taylor Britt. He has 5 assists. And, you know, as I said, I think he is a great backup point guard when Cameron goes to the bench. Cameron's more dynamic. He creates more, but Taylor Britt is a really good facilitator for New Zealand. Cameron will take the headlines, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists in 8 minutes and 20 seconds of action. But like you say, I think the most impressive thing, without a shadow of a doubt, is that it's just a team. It's just the depth in that roster, and that every player comes on and keeps the level the same. You know, we saw in Syria, you mentioned it in commentary, second string don't seem to be doing as well, and there is a dip when when certain players come onto the floor. And that said, I don't think there's been any standout performances, particularly from Syria in that first half. They really have lacked someone stepping up to the plate, which I think is one of the big frustrations for Coach Juarez. He just needs one of his players to take this game on a little bit more.
Yeah, we thought they would be overmatched a bit, but even so, a little bit better than they have been in this game, Syria.
Yeah, you really would. You know, we looked at it, and you're right. It's clear that New Zealand have greater depth and maybe slightly higher talent level within their roster. But I think I was just basing my expectations off that amazing performance that they had against Kazakhstan, and that was maybe ill-founded as they trailed by so many at the half.
Who will you become when the moment arrives and you're carrying the expectations of an entire nation, representing your people and their dreams, the colorful faces in the streets, the screaming fans in the stands? It's time to make your move. All eyes on you, all hope, all heart. Because when you win for all.
Oh, what a play by Ravena, and then Davidson fouls. The chance for a three-point play. Oh, what you call Joe G. Slam City here in J-Town. Abu Hawass. What a sensational finish! The man can fly. Look at this. You hear the crowd getting into it. And Bolden finally able to throw it down and earn a trip to the line.
Kiambao, what a slick pass that was from number 28.
And that is great team offense. Kiambao just looking for the backdoor cut from Aram, and Aram timing it perfectly.
Oh boy, look at that passing. Tominaga, good. Showing the three-point side. Son, look at how he's able to get up and hit that three-pointer. Unbelievable. Well, that just puts an exclamation mark on a thoroughly dominating performance for China. Wow. Coming up on the 1 minute mark here. And now Dwight goes in, and boy does he put the Saudi on the poster. You feel kind of bad for Al-Hawsawi, maybe a bit naive.
He'll be having nightmares for weeks on that one.
Guess that's not to pick up a third foul. Freddie, he was going in for a dunk.
That's great defense leading to fast break offense.
2 2-point game, set him up. It might be a three anyway. Abraham! Oh! You are kidding! You cannot believe it! It is stunning! Stunning save to Jakarta! Freddie Abraham! Steady Freddie! Has finally stood up to be counted! They have knocked Chinese Taipei out! Incredible! (53-21) at halftime here in Jakarta. New Zealand on top against Syria, and Flynn Cameron leading the way with 9 points. One of the left-handed shooters, he has a good left hand anyway, in this New Zealand team. He's gotten them on drives. They're just going to have a slam there, didn't work out, but he's still able to get the layup. And also showed us his three-point shooting stroke. It's been a demolition in every respect of the word. Already up 32 points, their biggest lead, 34. 8 points for Sam Meninga, 7 for Tane Murray. And just a balanced scoring attack. 5 for Jordan Hunt, 5 for Tucky Farrenson. So But defensively, they haven't really given anything away, too much away anyway, against this Syria team, which is a little bit discombobulated, just out of sync.
Yeah, I don't think they've been challenged really. You know, they haven't had to stretch too much defensively to stop Syria. But on the offensive end, balance, I think, is the word, not just across players, but from where they're getting points as well. So it's making it even harder for Syria to defend. They've got 24 points from outside and then 29 points from inside. So it's, yeah, tough to defend when a team is attacking you from all directions and having success.
It's interesting that if they do end up winning this game, which I would say there's a high probability of that, they would go up against Korea.
They would.
And Korea's the team that they played in the semifinals of the last, or excuse me, in the third place game of the last FIBA Asia Cup. Korea won that game.
Yeah, a 9-point win for Korea, and you get a feeling there might be a little tinge of revenge for New Zealand if they do face Korea in the quarters.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Timmins was in that team. Who else was there?
Imagine Smith Milner, was he there?
Yeah, Smith Milner, that's it. So,
but that would be an interesting matchup because you've got a Korean team are pretty deep as well. You've got a team that's got a ton of talent,
yeah,
and some big problems for New Zealand to deal with.
A lot. Yeah, that is going to be, I think, probably their toughest match, their toughest game of the tournament.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Don't forget Korea, although China without Zhou Qi, as we see Hani Adribe leading the way with 6 points for Lebanon. China took on Korea and lost on opening night, but China did not have Zhou Qi.
No Wong. They didn't have Wong.
So yeah, so they didn't play with him. That might have made a difference, but Perry Cameron, I'm confident he will think that his team has a good shot of winning that game against Korea if they go out and execute and play hard.
Oh, I don't think, yeah, this New Zealand team, I don't think they fear any team that they'd face here. I think they realise that they've got plenty of talent and enough talent to challenge any team in Asia Cup. They just need to put it together. And, you know, they came a little bit short in that test against Lebanon, when Lebanon came in and disrupted them. But they're railroading their way to a quarter-final matchup here because Syria just, it's interesting. I thought maybe it was an epiphany moment for them against Kazakhstan. They've worked out, you know, how to play. They've worked out kind of their team structure, a bit more cohesion. But it's just fractured again here today. Interesting to see what Coach Juarez has talked about in the halftime locker room with Syria. Whether they're still talking about trying to come out and win this game, or whether it's, you know, small goals to try and build themselves back into the game. Let's see what Coach Cameron's got to say to the Tall Blacks.
Turn out Biggs. Nice loud communication.
Aggressive, don't let me see any basket. Okay? Our rule for the start the game. It's 20 minutes playing basketball. But we need to play aggressive. And come back running. In offense, play without ball. Put the screen. Bravo. Omar. Zach. Anthony. Karim.
1, 2, 3,
Well, download the FIBA Asia Cup app, folks. Use the barcode. We were talking about it earlier, and it really is a great app. I mean, I'm going to look at mine right now, and I'm just going to tell you what's on there. That's how much I believe in this thing. So you've got, obviously, you've got the latest news items. You got all the scheduled games day by day. You can go there for standings, and then, you know, the current state of play, qualification for quarterfinals. Get a long list of videos, all the videos that have been done. And there are a lot of good ones in there. And then much, you know, the list of teams, all of them. player stats, team stats, event guide, tickets, play and win. And you also have a link there to go watch it live. So second half action is underway in Jakarta. New Zealand in command against Syria, looking to book their quarterfinal spot against Korea. Here's Pierre Hunt. He'll be thinking he should have scored that one. We could hear Coach Juarez talking about he wanted his team to play more aggressive than what they showed in the first half. Cameron again gets into the paint, spins, turns, and scores. He's got 11.
And he's one of the Tall Blacks that's really impressed me. Coming and taking the leadership role in the backcourt. And yeah, I think he's one that will be fighting for that World Cup roster spot potentially next year. Gives his dad, aka head coach Sarah Cameron, a headache.
But Cameron, and that time an air ball.
Oh, he trashes me there.
Yeah, you queued him up.
Farrenson just called for the foul, and interesting to see how Coach Cameron keeps the Tall Blacks fully motivated when they lead by so much and they've been in such a commanding position for the whole game. How you keep them going. Eyes will start turning towards potentially a quarter-final as Pierre Hunt's called for the foul now.
I don't think he was too enamored with that one. Just a little bump.
Yeah, looked like a bit of a light call.
Hamwick handing it off to Issa. Now he sets the pick, he rolls. Cameron had the hands up. Issa tried to get it to the big fella. Nice pass right at the feet.
Way too low.
Timmons.
Way too low for Timmons. You can smile about it as they lead by so many, but it's been a pretty shaky start to the second half, and they don't want to just become complacent because that will roll over if they make it through to the quarters.
Obey hands it off, gets it back into the corner. Issa. Bakar drives in, he's fouled. And now Cameron having words without Hamwick.
Having words with his chest, maybe.
Then Smith Miller kind of came in and gave him a big nudge. Caught on camera.
Got a roving camera today as well. A new toy.
Yep, it's Ronnie, the roving robot camera. See some shots. Might see one here from the free throw line. Nope, not that time. And Bakar makes the free throw. Cameron tried to get the alley-oop to Timmons.
That would have been a poster all over Al Hamway if Timmons had been able to land that one.
It was almost a backcourt violation. Obeyed, whips it to Bakar. That's on, but a little short.
Oh,
good
beautiful
pass. So Smith Miller missed.
That's great awareness from Timmons, though. You know, looking at the pass coming his way, having an eye on that ball, but also having an eye to see where his teammate was. Just a quick touch pass to open up Syria. And for me, it's now down to New Zealand. You know, they need to pick the game up again. It's entered a bit of a dull phase, a low energy phase, and it's for them to take the game on again.
Obey gets it across midcourt. Bakar Changes directions nicely, goes up, and then he was right there, just didn't finish. Cameron, again, Al-Hamwi takes it away, and they should score on this one, Bakar, because he didn't hustle back. It's a one advantage to not getting back on defense.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's not the usual strategy within basketball.
Bounce pass, look at the passing from the Tall Blacks. And they're going to get a three-point play opportunity.
That is beautiful to see big guys like that selflessly creating great opportunities for one another.
Watch this again. Look at the passing. Bam. Pass back to him. And you like it because you see the bounce pass.
And I tell you what, that's textbook on how to take a rim protector out of the game. You know, putting Al-Hamwi in a spin, didn't really know which way he needed to try and play defense, and that's how they get to the bucket.
Obeid is going out. Arbasha now dribbling. Back to Bakar. Bakar just having a tough shooting day. He shot it very well the previous two games. That foul's on Adribe. Taylor Britt. Oh, it looked like he was going to loft that up for an alley-oop pass, and it went in. Just banked it in. I guess he was shooting the whole time.
Yeah, no, initially I thought that was what he was doing, but it was just a perfectly angled player.
Adribe puts it up, and Smith-Milner held his ground pretty well.
Yeah, he's a tough matchup to try and bully back to the basket.
Quick outlet. Bakar goes up and finally sees the ball go through the hoop. Tucky Ferguson missing on the rim.
Syria and New Zealand.
4 changes for New Zealand off that play, and there's the finish from Britt. New Zealand, for me, it's just down to them to take as much out of this game as they can right now. Syria aren't offering any real counter argument, but New Zealand have to make the most of this time. Still 15 minutes to play.
Yeah, it's got to play hard.
Yeah, you really have.
Hunt, Britt, Murray, and Meninga all in the game. Adribe turns, knew exactly how much time he had, took a tough shot, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, for me, they almost need to take a leaf out of the Chinese book from their qualification to quarter-finals game. They were just relentless. They kept going for the full 40. They were using it to practice and work, and I think that's exactly what New Zealand need to do, even if they feel that the game is secure. As Britt, little hesitation, that's beautiful. Yeah. Even if they feel that their qualification to the quarters is confirmed, then they've now got 14.5 minutes to work on, well, okay, what are we going to do against Korea? Is there anything we want to try out? Are there different, you know, fives on the floor? Do we want to see if there's a little bit of small ball to play? Or these are things they need to use now. The worst thing to do for New Zealand is just to take your foot off the gas and try and cruise through to the finish line. One that opens up the slight, minuscule chance of Syria coming back, but more importantly, you could pick up a foul, or you're just going to get into bad habits.
How do you like this angle? This is Ronnie, the robotic camera.
Ronnie Rover.
Like it. It just went right past us. He's roving around.
I haven't been run over yet. That's a good day for me.
I think the referees were definitely looking over their shoulder at that thing. Didn't want to be tripped up. So Bakar makes the free throw, and now it's 62-29. That was Murray's third foul. Here's Manenga. Count it. Up to 65.
Just every now and then when you see New Zealand play at this level, you kind of have to check yourself and realize exactly how young the majority of this roster are. You know, Meninga just 20 years old.
For three. Yeah, you're right. It is a young team.
You kind of forget that they're playing at this level and they're competing at this level.
And Britt lays it up and in.
That's a beautiful handle from Britt, and he's really, really impressed me in the last couple of games. I think they've got a great couple of point guards to lean on in this tournament. Britt, one of the veterans, just 25 years old though, so.
Well, in my opinion, they are the young and the restless. New Zealand. Alsati going for another three. Murray takes the bump, and the ball blocked, and then it goes off of him and out of bounds. Adribe not giving that up.
Just a little confusion on the table about a timeout, but there's not one. But yeah, it's.
He did say he wanted one, but I think that was if New Zealand scored.
Right.
He has a Juarez has a habit of going over and say he wants the timeout, and then he always calls it off. So you can understand there might be a little confusion sometimes. I mean, he can do that. Other coaches do it as well. Sati gets it to Bakar. Drives in. Much better for Bakar.
Yeah, just generally for Syria, there's moments where they've looked a lot better. Only trail by 3 in this third quarter. They've been outscored 14-11.
Esri.
Syria on track for their best offensive quarter. But a lot of that for me is down to New Zealand just slowing things down a little bit, not putting in as much as they were in the first half.
Bakar has it knocked out of his hands by Britt. Here's Murray on the break. Lays it up with the left hand. I would definitely give New Zealand a fighting chance if they're going ahead and punch this victory. I'd give them a fighting chance against Korea.
I would too. I'd put Korea as favourites, but not by a long, long way.
There's Bakar. Davidson.
The other thing I think when I look at Korea in this tournament, I think they're playing close to their ceiling of potential. You know, there's other teams that are playing way below where they could play, but I feel like Korea are playing close, you know, close to their best type of basketball.
As he travels, I wonder how Ra Runa is how Timmons will compete against him.
Yeah, that is going to be a really interesting battle. Both Timmons and Smith-Milner going against Ra Runa.
Look at that, you can still scan in that barcode for the FIBA Asia Cup app, so make sure you do that, folks. I can't speak highly enough of it. Let's go down to the bench and listen up.
Yes, when you stop, you go fast and come back. Use this minute, made for play aggressive. Honey, left is shooter. We talk about that, don't let sad. Come on. In offense, if we have problem, play 3. But play fast with the ball. Pass the ball and play fast. 23, okay? Go, and later 3.
Yalla, Shab, yalla.
Come on.
Fight. Let's go, fight together.
This was the Haka at the beginning of the game. And New Zealand has just been on top from the very beginning. And for Syria, you know, they just got to be able to start better. You know, every game, even the one they won, they started badly.
Yeah, they really did. Yeah, they are certainly slow out of the blocks in the games they play. Kazakhstan absolutely dominated them in that first quarter, and it was a big effort to come back.
Kane Kyle's checked into the game. Good to see him out there for the Tall Blacks.
And you kind of wonder looking back at it, was that their one game? You know, that Kazakhstan game, was that their one game where everything came together for them at the right time? Players stepped up and everything just linked perfectly for them to get the win.
There's the pass, and Alsati scores. Hunt travels.
And for Syria, they didn't have a great World Cup qualification campaign as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what they're looking forward to now. They went 1-5 in the first round against Kazakhstan, Bahrain and Iran, so they didn't make it through to the second round of qualification, so they won't have that qualification window at the end of August either.
Carb entry pass, Adribe goes right at Manenga, banks it in. He's really been overall their best big.
Yeah, I agree. Most consistent
undersized.
Big. Yeah, I think most consistent, to say, you know, to be frank, he's definitely undersized against some of the players he's gone up against.
Khareth not having it with his player flopping. The ball goes out. Watch this again. Well, probably going to see that. Here it is. This is it. Well, was that a flop or was that a push?
It's hard to tell, particularly in slow-mo, how much intent and force was behind Cameron's arm.
Yeah, Khareth is definitely looking at the referee as if to say, how come we don't get that call?
I'm thinking longer term as well. You wonder, are they going to hold on to Juarez? Will they make a coaching change?
Good defense by Esri, getting the block. That's it. So we have got 10 minutes remaining, 69-38. New Zealand on top. And the numbers just as you might expect. Domination, 6 more threes, 5 more makes inside the arc, a few more made free throws.
And New Zealand continue to dominate the game. You know, I don't think I expected it to be so one-sided this game as we came into it. I thought it would be a reasonably easy win for New Zealand, but they've made it very, very easy work with that impressive defensive performance in the first quarter. And the good teams do. They try and lock the game out as early as they can. And they did really. They led by 19 at the end of the first quarter.
Alsati came out and hit this three-pointer. I would suspect, because Syria did not come to this tournament as favorites. In fact, they almost didn't come.
Yeah, it's true.
They had such a disappointing showing in the Asian qualifiers for the FIBA Basketball World Cup when they didn't get the win that they needed against Bahrain to advance to the second round. So initially, the word was they weren't going to make it, but then they notified, I think, organizers that they would be here indeed. But so they've got a lot of issues. Well, you can scan in that barcode for the Courtside 1891 app for video streams, schedules, and scores. It's a fantastic app. I would highly recommend that. I also look at that one every day, just like I look at my FIBA Asia Cup app, which I know that you're excited about.
Absolutely love the Asia Cup app. For me, it's the stats, getting in on the box scores.
But talking about Syria and whether or not Quartereth will continue, I mean, I guess it depends whether he wants to continue, whether he has other options, whether they wanted to.
Yeah, I think there's a huge number of dynamics. You know, he's come in and been very confrontational with a lot of players, some of the well-known established players within Syrian roster. And whether you agree with it or not, players hold power to a certain degree within national federations. Are they happy working under him? I think the good players will be, because they see him challenging them and wanting them to be better, expecting them to play at a higher level. But certain players may not be comfortable with the way he coaches. So I think that will play a part in that decision as well. But you're right, does Juarez want to come back? Has he enjoyed this tournament? Has he enjoyed that process? And but I'd be interested to see. I don't think he's a bad person to lead them. He just needs the team to buy into his mentality.
Yeah, they need to have training camps. They need to have everything. Cameron hits another three-pointer, and he needs talent.
Yes.
I'm not, you know, you wouldn't think for a minute that the Syria has anywhere close to the same talent as New Zealand.
No, it absolutely doesn't, and that stems from their developmental programs and, you know, how they're bringing through that talent in Syria. That's clearly something that will need to be looked at. But I think
so. He's not a miracle worker, but I think there are signs.
I think it's game 5. I was hearing that for him today, so there's no way he can have a radical impact within that time frame. He certainly has had an impact. That game against Kazakhstan is a glimmer, I think, of what Juarez's coaching can do. But you also need to temper expectations. You know, you look back historically, where did they finish in 2017? They bowed out at this stage of the tournament with 1 win. That's looking like what they're going to do this time. So they're not worse than they were in 2017. Maybe just haven't progressed as far as they would have liked.
Alley-oop jam! Lob City, Jakarta, and the foul. And Sam Timmons going to the line for potential three-point play. If that's a play they're going to be able to run against Korea.
It'll be interesting to see how Raguna or Cho react to that kind of play. I'm not sure they'll give him the paint so freely.
With Choi?
Yeah, Choi will...
there will be no joy for Choi.
No.
Or no joy with Choi.
Choi is the player that's quite happy to give out fouls if needed.
Timmons gets the second one, or gets rather the free throw to go for the three-point play. He's got 10 points. And Kane Kyle, the Franklin Bulls, 1.98 meter forward, reaching in, committing the foul. He's making his Tall Blacks debut here. The teammate of Isaac Davison of Franklin Bulls. And Obeid gets in there and scores despite the high-flying Timmons going up for the block. Hero Hunt glad to be back on the floor, taking that shot, missing. This is where Obeid's good. Didn't finish, but the foul was called. So he goes to the line.
And that's what, yeah, you're exactly right. That's what Obeid does well, and you know, that's what he did in that huge loss to Japan. He was the one shining light, still trying to be aggressive and confidently going to the basket. That's what he needs to do for them.
Adilbi comes in, Nazarian goes out. I like seeing Nazarian play, but also like Adilbi. So let's see what he can do. Sheikh Ali also in the game.
It'd be interesting to see what the next generation of Syrian baller looks like as well. Adilbi, obviously the youngest player in the, outside Asri, the youngest player in the roster. Adilbi 22, Asri 20. That's going to be the key. Several players that might be playing in their last, you never know. Alhamwi probably the most likely to potentially be playing in his last Asia Cup.
Well, that was machine-like. Cruz, Pero Hunt, good passing. Gets him a shot right inside the free throw line elbow. Omar Sheikh Ali. And the ball turned over from Adilbi into the hands of Pero Hunt. Ken Kyle with the no look to Timmons. Banks it in. And a hold called on Kyle.
It's interesting because New Zealand kind of took their foot off the pedal in the third quarter, actually lost the third quarter 17-16. They seem to have reapplied a little bit more to the game in the fourth quarter, but I also have a feeling because you've got other players coming in being given their first minutes, like Kyle, that maybe feel like they have a point to prove or want to make the most of the time that they have on the floor. I'm trying to reassess as well New Zealand as we watch this game. Are they a top 4 team? Do I see them in a semi-final or not? I know it's Korea they're facing. I think it's a big ask. I don't think it's a million miles away from being able to beat Korea. Do I see them as a medalist? Where would I put them, kind of ranking them in the teams we've seen so far? I think potentially just outside the top 4, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
I think on their day they could absolutely, you know, upset some of those teams that I may consider to be a top 4 team.
Hamwe. They're definitely, their passing and movement, you know, when they get that space, the way they space the floor and they cut, you know, it's beautiful basketball to watch, really.
I think the other thing on the defensive side of things is that just the balance within their roster. We see quite a few rosters for me in this tournament that are very heavily guard orientated, very undersized, and that's caused them problems. Whereas I look at this New Zealand roster and I love how it's been put together. You know, I love the different options they've got with Timmons and Smith-Milner providing that kind of old school big, the body, the physicality. You've then got Meninga, who's more mobile but can still absolutely play post defense, and then you've got a good selection of guards that are out there doing different things, some that are slashers, some that are drivers, some that are much happier catch and shoot like Tane Murray. I just think they've got a really, really well balanced roster. I think Darling is a loss, I'm not going to lie. He brought a different dynamic to them. I think that is a loss and may show up in the game against Korea. But for me, that's one of the big things they've got, just the balance across their 12 players that they selected for this tournament. Maybe more so than any other team, actually, if I'm being honest, how balanced it is.
Kyle fouled while attempting the 3, so he will go to the line.
Chance for his first points in the tournament. He's only been playing under 3 minutes a game in the 2 games that he's played in prior to today, so it'll be nice for him to get some points under his belt in Asia Cup.
Now, in the game that they lost New Zealand, you know, turnovers hurt them because they actually out-rebounded Lebanon. And it seemed like Lebanon kind of got hot from 3-point range in the fourth quarter, to their credit. But the game also, it really did, you felt like Lebanon were just starting to get on top of New Zealand, and Pero Hunt was kind of a big part of keeping them in the game, New Zealand. And then he picked up the technical foul, which led to his ejection.
I certainly think it changed the dynamic of that game. You know, I don't think it's such a loss for New Zealand. It wouldn't be a 14-point loss, I think, if he'd stayed in the game. I think Lebanon maybe have been a little bit too strong for them, and more on an experience level than an ability level.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they've got a more experienced team, Lebanon. And I think also it was a first chance to really see New Zealand for some of these Lebanon players. I mean, they've got some good players. El Darwich was really good. Obviously, Wael Arakchi is good against everybody. Arledge is a player that you just aren't going to stop, really. He had 18 points, 9 rebounds. Gyeokchun was tough. That's Adilbi showing his ability to get down the break. Gyeokchun was a real surprise. He had the 3 3-pointers, 4 threes for Arledge. So
yeah, they certainly faced a really tough team, and like you said, losing their player that was actually in form, that was actually one of their offensive go-tos, changed that game for them.
Particularly because they were depending a lot on Tucky Ferguson, and when he went out of the game, that's when they needed Cruz Pero Hunt to be in there. And Murray did not have a good game against Lebanon. That's what I remember as well. He had a really tough shooting night, so that did not work to their advantage.
And I think it would have been beneficial. We've discussed this yesterday in some of the other qualification for the quarterfinals games. And when we looked at China, we were like, actually, this is beneficial that they have this game. Right. I'm not sure that's the case for New Zealand here. I don't think they're getting much out of this game other than running the risk of injuries, a little bit more fatigue within the tournament.
Although, interestingly, it's a qualification for the quarterfinals. So yeah. Shows the disparity in some of these games. But let's go down to the bench to listen to Coach Wada, who's called the timeout.
We can play 3 or 2, no, like 4. Hey, men, use these 5 minutes for play basketball the best possible in defense and in offense. Okay. Hey, we stay here playing Asia Cup, okay? Between better 12 teams. Enjoy these 5 minutes, okay? But don't let me fight. Don't let me fight. Okay. Go.
So use this opportunity is the message from Coach Wada to get better, because you're playing against a good team. Yeah. And these opportunities don't come around that often.
No, they really don't. And
as a national team,
the other message, enjoy it. And sometimes you think that the players kind of lose sight of that this is supposed to be fun. They are supposed to come to these tournaments, enjoy them, create great memories to take away. Yeah, this won't be one of their best memories, being schooled by New Zealand, but this is their last opportunity in a big tournament for another 4 years now. Well, 3 years it'll probably be with the catch-up, but yeah, they do need to go and enjoy it.
And just like Tay Murray's going to use it as a chance to get some more shots up.
And we were concerned about Murray after those first couple of games. He hadn't found any rhythm and was looking a little bit stuttery, but then he turned out in that game against Philippines and shot the lights out.
Oh dear. And that's exactly what you're talking about. If Timmons has injured his ankle here, he's definitely turned it. And that's not, he's going to try to walk it off.
That's a worry. He's in pain. He's in a lot of pain. You can see him tense up.
Oh, yeah, he turned it, his left ankle.
It looked like a little tweak. It wasn't a full extension. But they will now be working on him night and day to get him ready for that quarterfinal. Timmons is integral to what they do, and he looks like he's in a huge amount of pain right now.
Oh, boy. Kyle, how about that?
But that is exactly why you want to finish top of your group.
Nice to see the team celebrate for Kane Kyle hitting his first 3-pointer.
Yeah, saw Tucky with a little dance.
Well, Timmons has had injuries. Every basketball player has that very injury, and it's annoying more than anything. But he's got kind of his head in his hand right now.
And that's what tells me the most, because every basketball player knows how bad that injury is as well. As soon as you do it, you know to what extent you've done it. You kind of feel it, and you're like, if you've done it enough times, is it a little tweak that's a few days, or have I properly done some damage to my ankle?
So he'll have 2 days to get ready to face Korea. That game's going to be on Thursday, July 21st. So today's Tuesday, isn't it? Just feels like I've kind of lost track of time over here.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Delby knocking it away. Good hustle. Great hustle by Issa. Ooh. And Piro Hunt tries to take the charge, but the foul has been called. Watch this. Just that little bit of extra effort. I think Davidson thought it was going to be. Watch this again. Yeah. I think his feet were there, but he was kind of moving a little bit. So those are always 50-50 calls to me. I really struggle making those calls on the charges. Well, Timmons is kind of laughing right now, so maybe that's a good sign.
Fingers crossed.
Hunt has gone out.
Timmons is really important for what the Tall Blacks have done so far in this tournament, and if they want to get onto that podium, Timmons is going to have to play another big part.
See if King Kyle can get another one up. Here he is. He was ready. He was ready to launch it. Oh, look at that. Nice bounce pass. Look at the finish from Hunt. Good basketball between Kyle and Hunt. And you never know, those guys might be called into action in important moments in that next game, so they need to be up to it. Obey drives in with the left hand.
It's his signature move throughout this tournament.
There's Hunt. What's he from three-point range? He's got one to go down. Yeah, he's 1 of 4 from three-point range. Nazarian steps in and gets to the drop. Tall Bucks have a chance to get to 100. Isaac Davison, right corner, in and out.
Great team offense, just not quite the finish though. And New Zealand now, I'm sure, a little bit taken back with that Timmins injury. I think every player on the floor will be playing at a little slightly lower level, not risking themselves at all now.
Oh, nice play of Delby. He's got moves that nobody else has in this Syria team, which makes him intriguing.
Yeah, he certainly plays offense differently to the rest of the team. I believe it's a shame we haven't seen him more.
That time Kyle missed everything. Taylor telling Kane, Kyle, slow it down. I guess that's the way of let's take more clock off on every possession. Yes, drills a three-pointer.
I think they just want to run the game out now. I've seen Timmins go to the bench injured. They don't need any more, so the more possessions there are, the more chance there'll be injuries.
Here's Murray.
Yeah, just 2.
He's telling everybody to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, just 2 from 7 now. I'm sure Coach Cameron is very aware of the frailties of basketball players at times, and yeah, the cruel irony it would be for any New Zealand players to pick up injuries now. Game is done.
Issa from deep, a little hard.
Want to work out this last 90 seconds without any dramas.
Taylor Britt has it knocked away, gets it back. Hunt can't quite get it. Here's the deal. Adobe was going to get it to Nazarian.
Nazarian just wasn't looking for the pass at all. Adobe's getting a little bit frustrated. I think he's aware that he's not had that many minutes, so he wants to make the most of them, but the rest of the team just want to run the clock out now.
Rick, he is so good getting to the basket, isn't he?
He's great at finding the angles.
And they get the ball back. Kyle. I'm not sure that Pero was happy that Kyle went for that shot. I think he just wants to, I don't know. You got to play it.
Oh, it's off the dribble. Murray with off the dribble.
That gets him back up into respectable territory.
Takes him to 16 points as well.
3 of 8. 37.5%. And Esri. And that is going to be it. So Syria gave a little bit better account of themselves in the fourth quarter, but it wasn't nearly enough. New Zealand rolled to a 97-58 win.
Job done, simple as that for New Zealand. Smartly, they came out early. That was important. Come out and try and get the game closed out. That's a good sign for New Zealand. Timmins back on his feet, hobbling a little bit. Ankle iced up, no shoe on it. but he's back on the floor. That's good for Coach Cameron as they'll look forward to that quarter-final matchup against Korea. But as I was saying, New Zealand coming out early, getting the job done. 25-6 first quarter. Didn't quite kill the game off, but it certainly made it really, really difficult for New Zealand to come back into the action. Led once again by Flynn Cameron. He is having a breakout tournament, to say the least. He ends up with 16 points.
Syria just didn't start as well as they could have, Mark. That's the bottom line.
Nowhere near. Slow again. Slow again. New Zealand dominating the balls, 27 assists.
Look at this angle from our roving camera. Ronnie, the robotic roving camera. And there it is again. And the guys like it. Look, they're all looking over at it. They can see it. Murray, yeah, so Murray led him in scoring in the end, didn't he? 16. Flynn Cameron had the 14, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, across the board production. Taylor Britt, plus 19. He's just tough. Not surprisingly, an NBL player, also with Canterbury. So,
yeah, no, he is tough. You know, Taylor Britt does a great job, and I love the fact that he's happy with that backup point guard position. He doesn't have to be the main man. He's quite happy to come off the bench and lead that second unit. He's done a really, really good job for New Zealand again today.
So here's a look back at the highlights.
And as we see the highlights for New Zealand, that's their strength. The fact that almost every highlight has a different player featured in it. That truly is their strength. As Flynn Cameron at the moment is receiving his Player of the Game trophy.
That was the lob to Timmons, the dunk.
It's a beautiful play, isn't it? Good vision. And what a lob as well. Had a little bit of style on the lob.
So this is the first of 2 games today. Japan, Philippines will be coming up next. And no telling how that'll go. So Syria, see their participation in. Al-Hamwe was able to get a couple baskets. Obeyed. We like what we saw from Adilby throughout. Hopefully he'll get more playing time moving forward. Tane Murray hitting the baseline jumper at the 16 points to lead the team. Ken Kyle got a 3-pointer tonight. That got his teammates off the bench.
Be interesting to see when Syria take back to the floor next, what the roster looks like, whether there's any alterations, any changes, playing staff as well as coaching staff. I'm excited to see what they do, how they bounce back from this. They've repeated pretty much their finish from 2017 here in 2022. So how do they take steps forward is the next big question for them. But for New Zealand, they want to rest up Timmons. He seems not too bad on his injury right now, but they want to rest up Timmons, and New Zealand will now start looking forward to that quarterfinal. And I'm not going to lie, I'm already starting to look forward to that quarterfinal as well. I think that's going to be a really, really good game between 2 very good teams.
We're going to start planning for it right now. That's what we like. So the Tall Blacks thanking the fans that came out. They got some parents and some, I think, people from the Federation here. So there you have it, folks. 3 of the 4 qualifications for the quarterfinals are done. China, Jordan, and New Zealand have won, and now there's one left to be decided between Japan and the Philippines, which tips off at 8 o'clock here local time in J-Town. Well, they started with a Haka, and Syria really never got on track against the high-flying, sharp-shooting, sweet-passing Tall Blacks, who rolled a victory. Next up for them will be Korea in the quarterfinals.
many people, so it means the world. It's going to be tough. It'll be a dogfight, but I'm trusting our boys and we'll get it done. What kind of games do you expect? Our style. Fast, physical, we get out.
How do you feel about Syria's performance tonight?
First of all, as players, we were very happy to be in the first 12 team in Asia. It was a very hard situation for us before we came here. We did our job, but we tried our best today. We didn't play as we planned today. They played very well. We made a lot of turnovers. So overall, it wasn't a good game for us. But we made the plan before coming here, and it was to be from the first 12 team, and we did it.
Okay. What are some positive things you would take away from this competition?
Like we have some young players. The average of the team now is lower. Every player now will be more experienced by the time. Competing against very good teams at high level will make every player much better.
How do you feel about the future of Syrian basketball?
This year, the Syrian league was very good. The imports came back to our league. This year it was much better from the other years. So hopefully in the future it will be much more better.
Can you give me some comments about the game in Arabic?
Yes. بداية اللعبة كانت كثير منيحة للفريق النيوزيلندي. ما لعبنا بالشكل المطلوب نحن منتخب سوريا. قبل ما نجي على اندونيسيا جاكرتا كان عندنا هدف واحد وصريح بانه نكون من افضل 12 فريق باسيا. خططنا لنسرق لعبة وقدرنا نحقق هالشيء. نزلنا اليوم على الماتش ما عندنا شيء نخسره. عملنا اللي علينا بس ما قدرنا نجاري المنتخب النيوزيلندي. ومبروك لهم هارد لكلنا. Thank you.
Congratulations, another dominant win for New Zealand. How do you feel?
We feel good, happy as to be in this position. We have a lot to improve on, and we're just taking it day by day, make sure we get our work in and come prepared for the next game.
What does it mean for you guys to make the quarterfinals?
Oh man, a lot. I mean, we're a small country, not many people, so it means the world.
You guys are going to be facing an unbeaten Korean team. How do you feel about that?
It's going to be tough. It'll be a dogfight, but I've trust in our boys and we'll get it done.
What kind of game should we expect?
Oh, our style. Fast, physical, we get out and run.
How confident are you feeling about New Zealand going to the semis?
Oh, we have to handle our work and we'll get it done. I know we will.
Thank you.
All good, thank you.
Congratulations, another dominant win for the Tall Blacks here in Jakarta. How do you feel?
Good, yeah. I think we did really well executing our stuff offensively. We turned it up a notch defensively, which is the biggest take on that we've trying to head out of our out of all the pool games is that we really need to crack on our defense. So happy with the way we did that tonight.
What does it mean to you to reach the quarterfinals?
Oh, that's why we're here. We're here to win the whole tournament, and this quarterfinals is the next step for us in doing that. So we just got to take it game by game, and we're happy to be on pace.
How dangerous do you think this Korea team is?
A very dangerous team. We played them last Asia Cup a couple of times, and anytime you go against a great squad like that, you got to come prepared. So we're going to use this, the day in between the next game to really get prepared, hone in on our stuff, and be ready for a really great Korea team.
How confident are you feeling about the quarterfinals?
All of us really confident right now. I think the best thing is that 1 through 11, unfortunately, Max is not able to play anymore. But even then, 1 through 12, we've got great guys that are really good at basketball, and they all know our stuff really well. So we're feeling good. No reason not to. Thank you.
Congratulations.